I was born in Murrayville, BC in 1957. At that time, my parents had a chicken farm over in what's now Langley, I believe. They had 5 acres, and I don't remember too much of that. So most of what you see here would have been cleared at that time. There's some that we cleared out since, and there was certainly a couple more rock piles and brush around that we cleared out. Dad, I mean, if it was in the fall, there'd be, stuff for harvesting. And then sometimes we had to work before school. When it was light in the morning, we'd do some work before school and go to school. And I remember maybe it was in grade 6 or 7, this teacher said to me that thought I might be getting an award the next day, that maybe I could clean my fingernails before that. Because I guess sometimes they weren't too clean after we worked in the morning and then went to school. Yeah, I just remember in this very field here when we were young, parents or dad had cattle. They first had chickens, and I think they had cattle, and so there was fences, barbed wire fences, and I still have a big scar on this one leg where, running down the hill after dark, one night I ran into the fence. And I've got a dent on my head we had a tire swing, and I dragged a big block of wood over so I could stand on it and get a better swing. And I guess I swung ahead and put my head back, and when I came back, I slammed into the block of wood, stumbled into the house, and ended up with 7 stitches or something in my head. So maybe that's why I got problems now. Well, after I graduated from high school, I went to, it's called VIU now. Back in the day, it was Nanaimo College, and I remember I signed up there with a friend to go and take first-year science at the college, and then with the idea of transferring to UBC. But it was one of those years when it was beautiful in the wintertime, or in October, beautiful weather, so I only lasted about 6 weeks, and then I said, I'm out of here. And, but after I quit school that year, I wanted to travel to Australia, but I went back to Alberta and worked in an underground coal mine for, I think, 4 months, and had saved up some money to go to Australia. Then I think I went back to drilling water wells for one of the close neighbors had a machine or rig for drilling water wells, and I worked at that for some time after that, until unfortunately on September 13th, 1979, I was involved in a motor vehicle accident, broken back, 2 broken legs, and a few other things, and ended up in the hospital in Victoria, and then rehab over in Vancouver. And by the time things were sort of fixed up, I think it was 11 or 12 months. So hence, that's why I'm gimping around with a cane right now. So the good insurance would pay for a 2-year course. All they would pay was tuition and books. And I decided to go to BCIT and take the 2-year mining technologies course. And then I got a job with what at that time was called Placer Development, a big multinational mining company, but the head office was in Vancouver. And I worked out of the head office in the exploration department, so we got to travel around a lot of places in Western Canada, exploration projects. Quite a bit was in northern Saskatchewan, but then what they were doing was shutting down the exploration office in Vancouver. And by then I had 2 kids that were little, and I would have had to have been gone for 8 or 10 weeks at a time, so I took some severance pay and came back over here. That's when I got a job with an engineering company that did civil engineering, and some of the knowledge or courses blended in well with that, and started doing AutoCAD and drafting and surveying. Worked for that company for about 8 years. Then a friend had gone to work for a municipality at North Cowichan. I went down there and only lasted 7 years there and couldn't sort of handle or put up with the union mentality that we were working under. So I went back to a different engineering company in Nanaimo, I think for 5 years. Then went back to the first engineering company for about 3 more years. But in the meantime, in 2002 is when I started to do the corn maze at the farm. It started with a small pumpkin patch, and the corn maze grew in popularity, and the pumpkin patch kept getting bigger. But unfortunately, my daughter Marina had a degenerative disease and passed away in 2004. So I guess next year is 20 years. But we carried on with doing the corn maze up until last year and the pumpkin patch. And I guess I should have mentioned that, I got married back in 1985, then divorced, and then I got remarried to Betty, pediatrician, and she helped out a lot with the corn maze and the pumpkins. But last year we decided when we couldn't get enough help that we wouldn't do the corn maze for 2023. So that was the end of the line for that, and we planted a few or less pumpkins, but with not having the corn maze, there was not near as many visitors, and we had some insurance complications, so we didn't do the hay rides, and all that meant there was less visitors and we sold less pumpkins, but probably just about enough to cover expenses. And here we are. Unfortunately, before I got hurt, one of my favorite sayings was, hire the handicapped, they're fun to watch. And I guess that's not really so funny after I got smacked up. Yeah, I guess maybe it gave me, well, it certainly has helped now with at the farm. We've hired, for the corn maze and pumpkin patch, we've hired a lot of people that had, maybe not physical difficulties, but, mental issues or challenges, and quite a few of them have said what a good thing it was to work outside in the soil and whatever. So I think it gave me a better understanding, and with the daughter passing away, it gave me a better understanding of other people struggling with issues or past problems. But she was a good girl. We had just about 15 good years, and lots of good memories and pictures. And well, I certainly did some of the things that they advised. I went to some counseling and groups where you could sort of talk about things. But I think most of that you have to kind of work through it yourself. And I don't know. Things kind of piled up and I don't know the exact year. It wasn't too many years ago. And I've found myself in quite a dark place with almost committed suicide. And fortunately, my wife asked about it. It got me off to the hospital, and they zapped me straight. Or I got the whatever it's called, but. Certainly seemed to help, and I've had no trouble since then. So I don't know if that was just a matter of things building up or what it was, but it certainly been good for me. Well, I don't know, mischievous and like to drive the tractor. I can remember that. And she could understand some of the silliness that we got up to it, say Halloween and stuff like that. Whereas Dad couldn't, sort of see the humor because he was an only child. But yeah, I don't know what else she'd say. She had a list of what, us 4 boys sort of, that I would, take stuff apart, but maybe not get it back together, but I was always taking stuff apart, I guess. Yeah, well, I don't know if she was upset. Well, she probably was, because I came into the house. I had an old cat trap, and I put it on my foot, and I came into the house kind of dragging it behind me, and she was on the phone, and she, threw up the receiver and a big gasp, and then, of course, realized that, it was just fooling around. But I know she wasn't too happy that time. But I guess at other times she was proud of all of us for different things we might have done. Won some little citizenship award in elementary school, and I think the 4 of us boys, or at least the 3 older ones, went to Air Cadets, and we got to go to camps and stuff like that, and win little awards. And she always seemed very proud whenever you did something special, extra. Well, good and bad. When I worked at North Cowichan, there was a fellow that worked there surveying, and he was from Guatemala. And so then I'd seen somewhere a publication that a lady was going to talk about Guatemala at, I don't know, it could have been VIU then, or Mountspellier College. And I said to him, well, geez, we should go and maybe listen to that. And so we went to the talk, and it was very interesting. And she was setting up a clinic in one of the poorer regions in Guatemala. So then, we got supplies together. Some of them we bought, I guess, and some was donated. And went down, and I think I met her down there, because this fella that I worked with, his mom lived in Guatemala City. So I went, stayed there one night, and I met this lady, and we went up to this poor village, and she set up a clinic. And I was only there for 3 weeks, but certainly interesting experience. Fortunately, I came back with hepatitis A, and that wasn't quite so good, but got over that. But yeah, that was interesting to see. Very poor place, and I don't know if the lady's still there or not. She was off trying to get her doctor's, degree or whatever.
So when I was young, being raised on the farm, the parts I enjoyed was having the wide open spaces to be able to run about freely and be able to explore different areas, not feeling that you were kept in a confined area. I enjoyed working with my siblings as well. We all worked together very well on the farm to help grow and produce vegetables. My favorite thing as a childhood growing up probably was I was the youngest of the 6, so it would be being able to hang out with my siblings, being able to do things with them. I just remember when everyone else got to go to school and I was the one at home, I was very sad and I cried because I wanted to go to school with them. Yeah, it was just, I think we were very close growing up. I never appreciated that till now as I'm older, but it was, it was nice to be able, there was always somebody to do things with, because being that many siblings made it very nice. I think for both of my parents, when we would go on holidays was probably a happier time because the work was out of the way. They could actually relax as much as you can having 6 kids running around. But I think those were probably happy. I think they both enjoyed traveling, and for us to go on road trips as we did, that was a happy time for them. I also think for both of my parents, probably more for my dad, he was an only child and missed not having siblings. So for him, I remember him being very happy and saying that, of having all of us kids playing together and being as a family. That meant a lot to Dad. For Mom, she had a lot of siblings, so for her, I think she enjoyed it, but maybe not to the same extent that Dad did. For my mom or dad being really upset, that's a hard one to think of. My dad was very reserved as far as emotion. I don't actually, very seldom, trying to think back on times of him being mad or expressing that. He would tend to go outside and work if he was upset about something. So as a child, it wasn't, I mean, we were disciplined. Obviously, we did something bad, but that wouldn't be like major anger. I think probably for both of my parents, would have been, what I remember, would have been when my brother Murray was hurt quite seriously in an accident. That being a very sad time for them. I have 5 siblings. I'm the youngest. My oldest brother is Archie, followed by Murray, Bruce, Ross, my sister Bonnie. I would say I'm obviously closer to my sister age-wise and being same sex. For us growing up, we're very close. I do feel I'm close with my other siblings as well. Just the age difference made it a bit harder to be as close growing up. Archie's my oldest brother, who I consider a very gentle-natured person, willing to help people. Archie's very outgoing, easily can carry on conversations with anyone. That part of my oldest brother reminds me of my dad. My dad was very much like that for talking to people. Murray is my second oldest brother. Murray was, I remember, as a child growing up, kind of the prankster, impish one, I guess. I think Bonnie and I would like to say he's the one who got us into trouble with some of his ideas that maybe weren't the best ones. But again, as I would say for any of my siblings, very caring, very outgoing. He was probably the one that was more of a leader in a way than Archie, I found growing up, just their personalities. The next brother down, I have third oldest, is Bruce. Bruce is someone who is, I feel, again, very outgoing, open, big heart. He will try to help anyone. He's always the one kind of out to save the underdog or help anyone. He reminds me of my mom that way. She was very much wanting to help people if somebody needed a hand. And with Bruce, I see him in that kind of character as well for him. The youngest of my brothers, Ross, very, again, caring, outgoing. Ross is one, I would say maybe not outgoing, maybe more reserved, but as well, a big heart, will help anybody if anyone needs anything. Probably with him being in a way more of a leader maybe than Bruce would have been, the same, just kind of reverse roles, even though their age difference, one being older than the other. Sister Bonnie, loving person. She will, I'm going to cry. You can cut this. The same thing will help anybody. She's, again, just the closeness I feel for her. She's always been the one who's been there for me whenever I've had any problems. For Bonnie, very much as our parents passed away, she's the one who's been my rock to help me get through things. Yeah, I would say traveling is a passion for me. Animals, I love animals, most every type of animal. I like people, most people. I guess for me, what annoys me, I don't like people who don't have time or patience for people, especially elderly people or handicapped people. I guess that's one thing that I find quite frustrating. And I know we all get busy in our lives, but it's a matter of appreciating, getting to know somebody and appreciating what each person, what their life story is. Everybody has a story. And as you get to know people, you realize maybe there's reasons of why they act like they do. and that. So that would be an annoyance for me, is people not respecting and treating people with respect. And also the same with animals. I would like to think my parents would be proud of me. And I think not necessarily for things I feel I've achieved in my life, but I do think as I've grown older, I've become a more rounded person. Well, obviously weight-wise, but that I've become a better person. Of those things, like I say, that I now have learned to have more compassion for people and just enjoying. I now realize, as you know, when my parents were older and you're a kid, you don't understand that. Just to enjoy the simple things in life, the things that make you happy, to find happiness within yourself, basically too. So I like to think they'd be proud of me. If both of my parents were still alive, just to tell them thank you. Start crying again. Just to say thanks for all they did for us. Again, as a kid growing up, you don't appreciate the sacrifices they make to help you through life, give you a foundation to start on that. And yeah, I think I look back on it, for my mom especially, that because the childbearing, she was the one basically looking after and everything with us. Dad spent a lot of time, outside working on the farm, as did Mom. She did that also. But I just think there was part of her upbringing too was she had probably a lot of expectations on herself also. So I look at that for her in a lot of ways a very hard life, and I think for both of them, like they obviously made the sacrifices as they needed to. We never went hungry. We certainly didn't have a lot of money, but yet they always managed to provide for us. And that's something that I think is very commendable. I think probably we have all had our times of growing up, each as individuals, and then as, if we're involved with somebody or we have families of our own and that. I think amongst all of it, the one thing that to me I feel rings true of how we were raised is always being there for each other. So even if it ends up it's nieces, nephews, whatever, it's you're always there to support and help where you can. Yeah, when we grew up on the farm, we had friends that we would go to school with and that, different neighbors. So I remember that being, for myself, I can't speak for my siblings, being well-rounded in the sense of having friends to hang out and do things with. For us on the farm, it was different because we didn't have the summers off. That was our busy time. That's when we worked. But we would have people that were friends that would come to be on the farm with us or do things on the farm because for them, they thought it was kind of neat to be there. We, again, as children, never appreciated it, I don't think, because we just looked at it as we were working. That was part of it. So, I think it was neat. I think our family, Mom and Dad certainly helped others out, as did everyone in the neighborhood. You look out for each other. You look out for families, and if people need a hand, you help them out. For myself growing up, that's one thing I remember being instilled into us, is not to be prejudiced against anyone. It was like every human was treated as a human. No one was different. It didn't matter for, race, color, religion. Everybody was treated the same. And that's one thing actually I would say is another thing that annoys me is people who have prejudice. So there's another annoyance. But yeah, I think for us it was certainly nice to be brought up in that environment, not to have any, resentment towards people or any, racism at all. My hopes for the farm is that we can keep it with the siblings enjoying and running it as long as we feel we want to do that. That's easy for me to say because I'm not really involved with it. But I look at it right now, I think it's very good for the people who are farming and being a part of it, how much enjoyment they get out of it. But I also feel I don't think our parents' hopes were that it would ever become a burden to us. It was more of a gift for us to take and enjoy in our lifetime of it for however it serves us. So for the future, again, I look at it that for us to be able to use and enjoy it as long as we can and want to. I would like to think that people think of me as an honest person, someone who's fun-loving, but somebody who would be definitely a true friend. If I had issues with you, I would tell you to your face. I'm not somebody who would like to go and talk about you behind your back. I feel if I have something to say, I would say it to you. Well, with mom and dad, it was before I was born that they had moved out to Surrey and had started there as an egg farm, and that's where everyone except for me was born, on the mainland, and then had bought the farm on the island, and then spent numerous trips back and forth coming, back from Surrey to Yellow Point of getting the farm established and that. I remember I was born in '63, so at that time, I don't remember a great grandpa coming out. We have pictures of that. That again, probably before my time, I'm thinking. But I do remember grandpa coming out lots of times to come out and being there. For me, the memories would have been more when I was older and the farm was already established and going that. Lots of stories I remember of mom and dad saying of them coming out and helping and getting things going for the farm. When I was 19, I left the farm and had moved to Abbotsford to take a job there. So I was away from the farm, would come back on weekends, or as much as I could to visit, probably not every weekend, but would come back and forth. It was a source of home for me to come back to. So over my lifetime, I've done many different jobs, probably most of them being clerical. Right now I work as an ophthalmic technician and a booking clerk. Probably for jobs I enjoyed the most, I enjoy working outside, so when the weather's nice, obviously. So I've kind of had a chance to do a lot of different types of work. I'm right now very lucky being where I am, doing work that I like and enjoy, but I still like to be involved doing work outside when I can. So for myself, for work that I've done over the years, I've learned patience. I think it's a good thing. Learned to appreciate and enjoy the people that I work with and respect the people who I work for. As you grow up, you start to realize how much goes into different jobs that people do and passions that people have. So I think patience is definitely one thing. Appreciation would be another with it. I'm not really involved in the family farm anymore. I still enjoy going out there. I'll go out to help when I can because I enjoy that. I enjoy being out there working with my siblings in that. But I'm not doing it as a full-time job or anything. When I left there, I wasn't. I had come back at different times to help at the farm when it was needed. But again, I was doing other work. That wasn't a full-time thing. It was more of helping out. When mom was becoming elderly and needing more help, I would spend more time at the farm, but that was more of helping with mom than doing farm things. It was more just being there for her. So even though I'm not involved with the farm, I still enjoy very much going out there and helping out when I can. I certainly enjoy the time being there, of having a chance to catch up with my siblings, see what's happening in their lives. As we grew up, a lot of the time when we worked on the farm, in the fields, that was always a good chance to be able to talk to each other. There wasn't the distractions of everything else. So for myself now, it is definitely like a grounding for me and a chance to reconnect with my family of being out there. The thing that I find is really neat now is with my siblings who have children of their own, I also have a chance to see nieces and nephews when I go out there. For those that were, born in the time when mom was still alive, they have more of an attachment to the farm, I think, as well. And that's kind of nice to see that continue on, to see the appreciation of the farm. Because I look at it as something being something my mom and dad devoted their lives to. And their whole idea was of the farm being somewhere for us to be able to be raised and grow as a family. And also for us to be able to look out for each other. So I think it's a very neat fact that it's still in our family, that all the siblings are still involved in whatever amount they are, they choose to be. It's still a sense of family with there, definitely is that.